The biggest battle we will ever have to face is the battle between you and you. It's the battle of taking your mind to that limit and then breaking through. On the Mindful Experiment podcast, we will share concepts, universal laws, and interviewing individuals who have done just that, who have gone through the dark times and through those moments allowed their light to shine bright. I'm your host, DrVic Manzo, and I want to thank you for listening to the podcast and taking this journey with me as we discover different avenues to break through those limits, expand your reality, and evolve into the person you desire to be. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hey everyone, welcome. This is DrVic, and you're listening to another episode here on the Mindful Experiment. So excited to have you here, beyond here, and so forth, as I had just coming back from an awesome weekend, just to disconnect, change of scenery, everything that's been going on with COVID. We kind of had to go on a lockdown, not in the sense of fear or anything, more of a lockdown to, secure the business, make sure we're good, and adapt to the changes that were going on. And then how can we lead our community? How can we step up to be the leader? And not only did I do that with my chiropractic office, but we've even done that with some of the mindfulness stuff and the mindset if you've been following us, you've been seeing how my message has changed. If you've been a subscriber and part of the tribe of the Mindful Experiment, you know that the message has changed since March. And a lot of the stuff that I've been sharing really had to do with fear, mindset, things we face in life, how to be resilient, how to shift perspectives, and how to see things from a different light. And it's really been awesome experience. The feedback has been great. So thank you for those who have been reaching out and sharing your feedback with me. I really do read your messages. I do read your emails, and I do respond because I do appreciate that feedback and you taking the time. You're my tribe. This is who I'm putting my energy in for you guys to kind of help share. And if it can help, great. That's awesome. If not, you're going to, at least it was some good information to kind of reinforce the wiring of your brain to stay that way. In today's episode, today I wanted to really talk about the limits we put on ourselves and the importance of going all in. I've done a few podcasts on this in different ways, and I felt this morning in my meditation, I felt that this was something that I needed to share. And I felt like it's something that we're always seeking. If you're listening to this podcast, you're obviously seeking for more. You're obviously seeking for a better life. You're seeking for something grander than where you are now, right? And I truly believe from a soul perspective, that's who we are. We are truly infinitely ever lasting desire is to grow, expand, and evolve. I think that God or the source energy or prime creator, prime directive, whatever the label you want to put on this, instilled in us when we were created to always be seeking for more and always looking for opportunities of growth and things along that nature. And it always fascinates me because when I learned that and I studied it for about 2-3 years, I really wanted to hone that in. It was fascinating because I seen the contraindications of what humans do. And I started to see how when we are not in rhythm with nature, not in rhythm with the universe, not in rhythm with our own selves, our own body, we are nature. We are part of nature. It started to fascinate me to see the discords that will be created in our lives, the vibrational frequencies, the improper alignment. And a lot of my coaching clients, I work with them on alignment and how to get there. There are other step-by-step processes that we do. My coaching is very vast in a lot of ways. Sometimes you hire a coach and you just want this one thing and you want to get there and that's it. My journey in coaching has always been holistic. It's always been, hey, I have a ton of tools that I can use. I have a ton of things that we can do. But we got to figure out how to get you first mindset, right? We got to get there first, and we got to look at a few different things. And sometimes people think they have like a vision that's solid, and sometimes I would challenge that, because if your vision is solid and the actions that you're taking, you'll never feel burned out, you'll never be overwhelmed, you'll never be exhausted, you'll never be distracted. Because when you're truly stuck on the vision, you're truly in alignment with life and what it is that you want to create for yourself, nothing gets in the way. You don't need vacations. You're constantly doing, everything you do in passion is more. One of my mentors who was always on fire, his energy was always up. And I mean, I've seen him through ups and downs, but it was always magnetic. And I always asked, how do you stay that way? Like, I'm positive 97% of the time. No joke. Ask my wife. But at the same token, I have my downtimes too, just like anybody else. I probably have 10 to 15 days a year where maybe even 20, where I'll have some downtimes. It's just that it's not my normal vibe, right? But I bounce back immediately. And one of the things is that, I was just asking, and one of my mentors, he's a spiritual guy, and he was just like, when you're following your passion and truly living your life on the terms that you want, and you're living that every single day, your life becomes a vacation. The work becomes a vacation. And I started to look at that, and I was like, you know what? That kind of works for me in the office, in my chiropractic office. I go on vacations or I get away for a little bit. And it could be 4 days, 5 days a week. And the one thing I can't wait to get back is in the office. To this morning, as I'm recording this, I got to be in the office in about an hour and a half, and I can't wait. I'm excited to get in there, see patients, just start adjusting kids, having conversations. I come back with this new energy, and I want to share it with them. I want to be able to do that. My coaching clients, you guys, my listeners, I'm excited to share this information because it's new stuff. I enjoy podcasting. I enjoy doing these things to truly hopefully create value and content that can help you in some way, shape, or form. Every day I wake up with gratitude and appreciation for everything that I have and everything I can do. And the one thing I'm always like, every time I get up is like, I'm going to make a difference in one person's life today. One person's life. It may just make them, they'll be in a low mood and they rise to a good mood. That's my win for today. And if I can just get that, then I had a successful day. And so it's looking at that. And I know I may be getting off on a tangent. Don't worry. I'm going to bring it full circle. But it's one of the things in life that when I look at how much we limit ourselves, right? How much do we not go all in? I used to be a guy that half-assed things, right? I just half-assed it. Back in the day, I'd do something, talk the big game, half-ass it, make some excuses and move on. And it was very frustrating because when I started to look at my own life and say everything's based on me and me only, there was a lot of inner battles I had to fight, a lot of inner critics. I had a dad who was very on top of things. He was a perfectionist. So everything I did, no matter how great it was, it would have been critiqued and judged like it wasn't. And I would have that inner critic in my head. And I do at times, it comes up, but it's not a bad thing. And my dad has taught me to level up in everything I do. And that always shows me there's always room for growth. Don't let your ego get in the way. That's what I learned from that. And that's the lesson I took from it too, because I chose what lesson I wanted to get from it. And I made it part of my life. But one of the things I've learned over time is that whatever it is you're doing, if you're not getting the results you want, you're not putting in 100% effort. You see, sometimes, and I'm gonna contraindicate. I'm gonna say something that's gonna go against that in a second, but I'll put it all together. But the effort is what we need to focus on, because you can put 98% effort and only get 10% result. And it's something about that little bit of a change. And if you don't give that little extra, if you don't get that 100% full in, it's not going to work. And the image and the visualization I want you to see is this. Water boils at 212 degrees. It does not boil at 211 or 205 or 198. Water boils at 212 degrees. If you're only giving 98% effort, that's 209 degrees that you're putting in. You're not being 212. And so in your life, whatever it is that you're doing, you have to be 100% committed. You have to be 100% all in, no distractions, and being laser focused and crystal clear on your vision of what it is you want to create. You can't have none of the noise get into the way. And I always tell people, if it's hard for you to do that, get a coach. Look at a mindset coach. Look at somebody who can help you stay in tune. This is where mindset comes in, because you have to be crystal clear. You have to be all in. This is do or die. That's the mentality I come to things. When I do something, I'm looking at it all in. If I'm going to be 100% in, I'm doing it. If I can't, if I can only half-ass this, or I only can put 70% or 98% or even 99%, I'm not doing it. I have to be all in or nothing at all. And it's been a valuable lesson because I've been living that life now for the last 2, 3 years where I just said, if I'm saying I'm doing this, I'm doing this. There's no cookie cutting. There's no changing the course. This is what I'm doing. And that's it. And I love it when I had a best friend, I was talking to him about some stuff a couple of weeks ago, and it was awesome. We were having a great conversation, just chatting up some stuff. And he just looked at me and says, man, you say you're going to do something, you freaking do it. Like, you just do it. It just happens. You're determined. And I'm like, I am. It's my life, right? I'm 36 years old. The way I look at things now is like, I'm getting older. I'm gonna be 37 this year. I'm like starting to get that feeling like I need to start doing shit. And some people say, you're doing so much. It's like, no, it's always fascinating because I've met some people who do amazing things. I mean, they're at a scale that my vision is to get there, right? They're international. They have a full, they're changing lives in so many ways. I mean, the stories I see and the conversations I get to have with them, it's just absolutely amazing. And, but I talk to them and I'm like, so when's enough, right? What's the next vision? What's the goal? Do you have another level? Is this where you wanted to be? Is this your vision? Is this the end all be all? And it's like, it's so fascinating because the feedback I always get is, oh, I'm not even where I want to be. And I'm like, what do you mean? First of all, you're financially, you could stop and your kids are going to live a great life too. But at the same token, there's all these other things. And he's like, no, there's more that I want to give. There's more of what I can give. There's ways I can go deeper and express more. He goes, I'm just breaking the surface. And I'm just like, wow, did you say that 10 years ago too? And he's like, yep. I'm like, interesting. And it was peaceful for me. And I'm sharing this message with you because that's me too, where I don't feel like I'm doing enough sometimes. Sometimes I just don't feel like I'm really making an impact. And every once in a while, I'll get into those modes. I'm like cranking away and just getting into the grind and doing the work. And you don't get the rewards, right? They're not there. And, you can do this for 6 months, a year. And I'm very patient. I've learned to get patient more over time. And I just don't see it. And I'm like, man, what the heck's going on? And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, I'll get a message. Hey, Doc, thanks for that episode. Hey, Doc, thanks for that post. Hey, Doc, thanks for this. I just want to let you know this meant this for me. And it really helped me get out of a crappy place. Or when I wrote my book, I wrote my second book, A Walk in the Dark. And I remember when I wrote it, I knew in my head, the vision I had for this was going to transform people. It was going to be a guide. It wasn't going to be like a #1 bestseller or anything because I wasn't giving you like a 5-step program. I noticed those books usually have like a new way of saying things, new verbiage. And I've read so many of them that I kind of know the lingo on it and how they, some of the work they do to get there. But for me, I wanted it to just be a guide. And this was going to be a book that was going to take time to grow and expand because one person reads it, oh my goodness, one person. And after a while, I was like, wow, sales aren't where they thought they were going to be. They're nowhere near my first book. And my first book, I had less of a following than the second book. And it was very fascinating. So a lot of mind stuff, right? But I played all in. I went all in with this book. I knew what I wanted to say. I did it, and that was it. But I questioned at times because it does happen to me. And what ended up happening is then all of a sudden I get a message about someone who was going to commit suicide and read the book, and it helped kind of give them a shift in perspective and it really made them start to question things a little bit. And I was like, victory, done. Let's move forward. So the reason why I'm saying all this is that when it comes to playing full out, sometimes you're not going to get the result in the beginning. You may not get it in 4 months, 3 months, 6 months, 10 months, 2 years, but it's the continual work that eventually your message is going to start to get tapped into people. You're going to start building your tribe. You're going to start doing that stuff, but you have to show up every day 100% no matter what. You can't give yourself excuses. You can't give yourself wiggle room. You got to be dead on with yourself saying, this is what I'm doing. This is how I'm accomplishing. This is what I'm going to be moving forward. And you got to be crystal clear. You have to decide. You got to be all in on this stuff. And then when you get all in, you want to learn all fabrics of it. I get fascinated. Some people say, hey, Doc, how do you know so much about health? Well, because I got into health, not to just master chiropractic. I've learned chiropractic. I understand the philosophy. I understand the neurology. I'm not a master of the brain in a sense because I believe there's always learning that has to happen. I shouldn't say I'm not an expert, but I'm a master of it because I continue to learn about the brain, and I'm always acting like I don't know nothing. And that way it allows to keep my curiosity high so I can continue to learn how the brain works and what's the new research that's coming out. How does this happen? It's just fascinating stuff. So this is where my focus has been. But at the same time, I got into health because guess what? I want to know every fabric of health that I can possibly master. Where are the ways I can learn? What books are out there? And I take time to learn. I'll go into topics that I could care less about. It's not even going to benefit me as a chiropractor. But at the same token, or I should say, to my patients for a certain degree, but I want to understand how that affects health, because I want to know everything I possibly can so I can be the best person I can be for helping with my patients and serving them in every step of the way. Same thing for mindset. I study so much on the mindset side. I've been studying for over 10 years, and it's something that I'm still a rookie at in a sense. And some people will be like, I can't believe you're saying that. And because again, it's the whole concept of I don't know nothing, so I keep my mind wide open so I can continue to learn more, so that I can learn how to be better at what I do. And it's for guys, it's for myself too, because the better I can be better with my mindset and be able to shift it and get in a laser focus and know the tips and tools and the tricks and how to do that, how to keep in alignment, how to raise the vibration, what are quantum physics and universal laws that support that, so we can use those so that we're not resisting, we're not going against, we're not creating an incoherence, we're creating coherence with the universe, coherence with our actions, coherence with our thoughts, coherence with our emotions. Those are the things that are going to make things happen. And so whatever it is that you choose to do, you have to burn the boats. Now, this is something that Tony Robbins talked about. Actually, it's an old story of an army that was on the ocean, and they wanted to take over the island, but the army there was massively more than how many boats they had in the army they had in the water. So the captain said, instead of giving a rah-rah speech, he just said, burn the boats. We either die or we're taking over the island. And so when you look at the word decide means to cut out. And what it means is to cut out all our options. So that's commitment from itself right there. When you focus and laser focus on one thing, that's the thing you have to decide to choose to do. Once you make the choice, you have to follow up with your actions, your words, your thoughts, your emotions, and everything behind that. And once you start to do that, you create alliance. To me, playing 100% full out is you got to do all the back stuff first. You got to get the mindset right. You got to get the vision right, the focus right, so much more. If you don't do those things, you are wasting your time. You're going to get accurate results. You're going to be burned out, overwhelmed. It might be by chance that you get there, but at the same token, you're not creating see, for me, it's all probability. So how can we create all the probabilities to favor in your way to do just that? That's mindset stuff. It's so cool. I love it. It's massively changed my life because I work less now and I get more done and I have more success. I'm having a bigger impact. I'm helping more people, which is my vision and passion in life. And so it's those things that you can really create transformation with your life. So 100% all in. Decide. Cut out all the other shit. Just choose one, go forth, make sure your actions are congruent and play out 100%. Because the problem is you're limiting yourself if you don't. The problem is you're opening the door to more work and less fulfillment if you don't go all in. And, there's limitations. The limitations you put on yourself is the limitations of your belief systems, the limitations of your thoughts, emotions, and people around you. And so sometimes you may have to decide to cut out people in your life that aren't fulfilling you. Right. And that's hard sometimes because you may have long-term relationships. But you know what, though? Is it really worth yours limiting what you want to be doing your happiness? That's something you have to question and ask yourself. So many times people stay in relationships and it could be, a romantic relationship or it can be just relationships with a friend. And they just stick around because of years and life and this and that and all these other things. But in reality, if it's not fulfilling and helping you to be happier, more vibrant, and helping you grow and challenging you, then you got to question if it's going against your relationship, if they're throwing negative feedback to you, if they're making you question yourself or, not helping support you. You got to look at that. And I'm not saying you have to be conditional with your friends in a sense, but you got to make sure that they have your bottom line. Like if you were in the hospital and something happened, who's going to come visit you every single day? Those are the people that you want in your life. Because no matter what, they're going to back you up. No matter what, the idea sounds crazy. No matter what, if they don't understand it, they're still going to say you can do it and I have faith in you. Those are the friends you want to have. That's the family members you want to have around you. Because it's all about your inner support system. And with that support, you can do anything. That's why I'm very grateful to have the wife I have because she is very supportive of my ideas. She never shuts me down. She never says no. She never says an idea I have is crazy. She knows I can do it. She'll just say, I know you can do it. Just go get to work. And that is like all I need, right? That to me is magic because then I know I don't have resistance in my household for any idea. And I'm willing to share everything and anything with her. And she's all about helping me with that. And I'm very grateful to have her in my life, to be my partner in life during this time and to be the person who I have. So, that's the thing about your limitations. And I really believe there's a lot more I can go into in limitations. I'll probably do another podcast on that to really break that down a little deeper. I just felt with my again, everything I do on this podcast is freestyle. So I don't have a script I'm reading from. I don't have an outline that I'm reading from. I'm just sharing my heart with you guys. And so it's one of those things where I did want to talk about limitations. I didn't get there. So I felt like this was more of a message. Let me know. Hey, comment. If you're seeing this on social media, listening to it, comment, share some links with there for me. Share, let me know what you think. As always, I appreciate you tuning in. Please do me a favor, like the episode if you do. We're almost at 305 star ratings. I'm very excited about that. This last week, we just hit over 300,000 downloads, which has been awesome. Huge success in such a short period of time. We're going to be coming up to 200 episodes in the next couple of weeks. Very ecstatic about that. A lot of great things going on. So I'm really excited to be here. We're also revamping and launching my other podcast I used to do. It's more on the health aspect. I've been really feeling a pull to talk more on health. And my next book that's going to be coming out, hopefully by the end of this year, is going to be just that. It's going to be all on health, and it's a format that you can follow. And I'm going to have resources to help you find different things. And if you need help, that's where I can come in. Again, my background in health is very in depth, 20 years plus of nutrition, over 24 years of exercise. I've self-taught myself a little bit, and then chiropractic school and other things took me to the next level. When it comes to that, I was doing keto. Keto is the huge thing. I was doing keto back when I was 24. That's 12 years ago, guys. So I've always been a little ahead of the curve by 3 to 5 up to 7 years sometimes. Like CBD, it's blown up in the last year and a half, 2 years. I've been doing it for about 5-6 years. Again, it's just knowing in the groups and the circles that I'm a part of, and the research that I read a lot, it gives me that opportunity. So I'm going to be sharing a lot of this on my podcast. It's called Wellness Smart Radio. You can check it out. I'll be doing a ton of great stuff on that. So if you love the mindset stuff that I've been sharing, get ready, because I'm going to be launching at least once a week, the Wellness Smart Radio side. And then I'm going to eventually open that up to interviews where I have a list of docs and individuals that I'm going to be interviewing to just, help raise the consciousness on health, because it really needs to. I believe this with COVID happening and everything, a lot of the misinformation, the fear, and not educating about the immune system and what it really does really has woken me to be like, I need to start educating again and really taking it to another level. Again, right? 100% commitment. I'm not going to get into this unless I can commit 100%. And so make that your repertoire, make that your code. I live by codes, and eventually I'll talk about that, but make that your thing that you're going to stick to, that if you can commit and you can do this, and no matter what, you will commit to something. That's 100% going all in. If you can do it, do it. If you can't, do not half-ass it. It's not worth your time. It's just not, because you're not going to get the yield of results. Remember, you can get 98% effort and you'll still get 10% resuls. So you want to make sure that you put 100% in at all times. I appreciate you guys as always. Much love to you all. Please let me know what you think of the episode. If you like it, this is your first time listening, subscribe. I do a podcast every week. And I missed last week because I was going out of town, but every week I do a podcast with me. And then we're relaunching our interviews. We have one coming up this Friday, which I believe is July 24th. And we're going to be launching weekly interviews up at least till end of August, September. And then I usually take a little bit of a break if need be, and so forth. So tune in. Let me know what you guys think. As always, appreciate you guys. Until next time, keep rocking and rolling. Thank you for listening to the podcast. For past shows, please visit www.empoweryourreality.com. I hope this show inspired you and added to your life to help you on the journey to rediscover who you really are. To connect with us on Facebook, please visit www.facebook.com/Dr. Vic Manzo. Check us out on Twitter. The handle is Dr. Vic21. Follow us on Instagram, www.instagram.com/Dr. Vic Manzo. If you were inspired by the podcast, pay it forward by sharing it with someone who you know can benefit from it. Thank you again for listening to the Mindful Experiment podcast, sharing paths to help you rediscover your infinite potential.